Hello, and how are you? I'm Dave Crane, going live now across all platforms, and it's kind of exciting. Just want to see exactly how this would work. For anybody who's never connected with me live, then this is your opportunity to do so. Hopefully, we can have some fun with it. If not, then we won't, and it won't be really cool and groovy. I wanted to talk about Clubhouse, to be honest with you, and I wanted to see if it's an experiment for those people who are using Clubhouse to see if you'd like to join me at this moment in time and have a bit of a chat about the incredible things that could happen in 2021, as opposed to the nasty, horrible things that we've all experienced over the last 12 months or so. Because for many people, the conversation seems to be, oh, yeah, yeah, things will be different. But to be honest with you, I don't know how true that's going to be. I think it's going to be very similar. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Looking forward to catching up with you on that. If you can connect with me, right now, we should be going live across all platforms. So I just want to exactly see what happens when we do this experiment. It may turn out to be that we get a terrible connection, in which case I will dump it with immediate effect and we'll do something completely different. But let's just see how it goes. This is Clubhouse, a new app that everyone's talking about, saying how exciting it is. And I think it should be as well, because for so many people, I've had them turn around to me and say, Dave, you should try out this new app. It's called Clubhouse. But talking to somebody about it today, my good friend Jen, she was explaining to me that it's actually been going from about April time. And most people didn't know about it. Most people didn't jump in, do much with it. And so now's a perfect opportunity to be able to find out how well it works. So if you're already on Clubhouse, then what I want you to do is jump onto Clubhouse and basically connect with me, Dave Crane. And I've opened up this room so we should be able to chat live. And the challenges are many, not least the fact that my internet might not be strong enough to take the actual call, which would be challenging and interesting because then it suddenly disappear. Amongst those other challenges is the fact that as we're talking and we're broadcasting, it might be the case that not enough people have access to stuff. So I'm going to look at this, put that up here, and say hi to Mohammed. Nice to see you there as well. Mohammed Khan, good to see you. And also, it's nice to see who else is going to join us. Just say hi if you're around, by the way. I'm going to add a few more bits and pieces here to make it look a little bit more interesting. We should be going live onto this. If you're on Clubhouse, I'd love to have a chance to chat to you. Ashutosh as well, nice to see you. Let me know where you're calling from too, by the way. That'd be always cool to find out where everyone's from. I hope you had an amazing festive season. Gotta be careful when I say festive season. Some people say, don't call it Christmas. Okay, just enjoy it the way that you want to. Hi to Marlon. Good to see you. And it's good to see everybody else who's joining us too. If you're wondering what we're doing, it's a bit of a live experiment to see what happens when we go onto Clubhouse. Clubhouse has been around since April, to my knowledge. And I've been in lots of chats watching people discussing lots of stuff. The reason I'm interested in doing this specifically here is because if you are in Clubhouse and you can join, and you can join in this particular conversation, then it also means that we can be looking at interesting things, including the fact that we could probably get you live on the conversation too, which would be cool. And I'm sure this is actually the weirdest new year for me of all time, because normally I'm doing a gig throughout New Year, and this is the first year where this didn't happen, which is kind of bonkers, because this is the first year where I actually just fell asleep. And so normally I'm DJing in some collection or hosting some big event. Of course, this year it was lockdown time, so I decided to watch a movie. So I'm sitting there at about I think it was about 11 o'clock. I put on The Rock, starring Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, because I was feeling all nostalgic about the people that have been lost during 2020, of course, including our dear friend Sean Connery from the Bond movies and a ton of other things. So I'm watching the movie. I just dozed off. Why? Because I can. So I fell asleep in the middle of watching this movie, and then about 2 minutes past 12, my dogs ran under the table in my office and headbutted me in a place where the sun doesn't often shine, certainly not on that particular time of day. And as it all happened, what happened basically was the fireworks had gone off. And as fireworks had gone off and scared the dogs, it meant that they're suddenly going, oh my goodness, where's daddy? Because it reminded me of thunderstorms. and they woke me up. And so straight away, my wife said, "Welcome to 2021." And I'd missed a ton of a movie, so I had to catch up with that, which is kind of cool as well. It's always good to rewatch that. So if you just join me, it's nice to see you. Hi to Mika as well. We're going out live onto LinkedIn. It's just a bit of a test, a bit of experiment to see how well it goes, to see actually whether you could join me in this. Now, let me see if I can, for those of you who don't really know who I am and what I do, which is probably a ton of different people, let's see if I can put some branding up here. Let's see. Right, that should be better. And if I add this here, there we go, just to prove I am doing all this live. There you are, look at that, looks better already. See, you can see who I am, going out live with my name all over the place. We just want to, we'll go through this anyway, and I'd love to have your feedback and your thoughts as we do it. I just want to experiment what the challenges are going into this year and look at your thoughts as well. I've been looking to do something in the future days of this show regardless, which is to talk about getting an actual live chat show going where you can speak to me live on the air. There's ways of doing it, but I'm not ready to give out my mobile number to the world because of the amount of crank calls and spam and, hello, can you get me a job? No, I can't get you a job. Can you get me a job? No, I said no. Can you get my brother a job? It still sounds like you. Yes, it is. Can you get me a job? I'm not ready to deal with that. It's a bit of a live challenge anyway, at the best of times. So, how was your new year? Like, I'm glad to see you had a good one as well. Where were you for New Year? Did you have an interesting story? We'll be going and checking out the challenges that I've got lined up for you today as we go through a couple of different things. As I mentioned earlier, this is a session I did do previously, 10 Reasons Why You're Amazing. And I always think it's good to go through this. In fact, I've lost my name badge on here. Let me just add my name badge so you can see that I am actually doing it live. And for people who are saying, how's he doing this? What does he make it all happen? It's all done basically. Let's see. It's done live because this is how I do my Zoom calls as well, in case you're interested, using digital stagecraft. And when I coach people in my Industry Icon program, we basically go live and we do stuff like this. So this is the questions and stuff that I want to ask. And I want to look at it, and I'll share this session with you today because this is basically 10 reasons why I believe you're amazing. Now, if you're just watching for the first time and you've never connected with me before, then feel free to say hi. It's always a pleasure to know that you're out there and sharing quality time. And if you say hi, I'll give you a name check, put your name up and say hi as well, because they'll just stare in a creepy way. And I want to go through as many different things as possible to make you feel positive about the new year and the fact that in many places around the world, lockdown is exactly just like every down. It's the same thing as I've had before. In Dubai, it's been different. I've got to be honest. In Dubai, we've been very, very lucky in the fact that straight away, the rulers of the country said, right, you go into lockdown, like it or not. And they made sure that everyone basically had tests if they needed to. And now everyone who wants to go and get the vaccine is going to get it. And we're out of lockdown. Social distancing, which is fantastic. And also wearing masks, which is important too. All those things are going on. But I don't feel that I'm sort of like stuck in. There's certainly no tears. Like TIER, by the way, like there is in the UK, about being stuck inside and not being able to go out to play at all. So that's kind of important, I think, for most cases. So in Dubai, it's business as normal as much as you can have with organizations that really aren't sending people back to their offices. Many people are. But I also wonder what the world's going to be like when we do move forward out of this. Are people going to want to go back to work in an office? For me, I'm really comfortable just basically chilling out and going live on like this. I can talk to anybody around the world. And in 2020, a large part of the business I was doing was literally this. It was just going on and talking to people. And I've got to say that one of the things that was so different about doing this kind of work is you don't have to spend time in meetings waiting to get to meet people. You can go straight on Zoom, and maximum you're waiting, 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes for people to suddenly pop up. But for the meetings that I've been having this year, I would have had to fly to the States or fly to UK or fly to Germany or fly to Australia and meet the people in person, because many of the key people I'm connected to now just wouldn't do Zoom calls. I certainly know that I didn't feel comfortable doing that kind of thing before. So feel free to share this, by the way. As always, I'm live. I'd love to have your thoughts. And if you've got a good enough comment, then pop it up. We're going to be looking at the 10 reasons why you're amazing, and also why you can look forward to this year being rather special as well. My dear friend, Dr. Ariel King from United Nations and the Ariel King Foundation. Good to have you here joining us as well. I'm just doing a bit of experiment to see how things are going with Clubhouse, which is a relatively new app to me. I jumped on about 2-3 days ago. I've joined in a couple of different rooms. I've created a room now called 10 Reasons Why You're Amazing. And if you want to join that room, then please do if you've got Clubhouse. It's only available at the moment on iPhone. But if you do join us in a room, then we can have a chat, which is fantastic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then nothing will happen because you're not really sure what I'm talking about, which is kind of cool as well. But I'd love to be able to connect with you and say hi. So it's good to see Dr. Ariel. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas, New Year. We will be catching up soon. And I'm sure we've got amazing things to be done in 2021. And also to Charbel, good to see you as well. Good morning. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're calling from, by the way. I love the fact that when we go on LinkedIn or any of the other platforms, because we're going live now across yeah, wait for right. Well, as soon as you get the invite code, then let me know and join in. As Marlon, it'd be great to chat to you. We go live right across lots of different platforms. So go onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, to Twitter, YouTube. Connect with me on YouTube, by the way, because I do put a lot of exclusive equipment stuff on there that most people don't see. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because Kimberly Flowers, my dear friend, has just joined me. So. With that, hopefully, Kimberly, I'll be able to get you to join. I'm just checking now, picking up my phone, and we can have a chinwag, a proper conversation within the platform. And I'm not sure how to enable that. Oh, here we go. So I'm inviting you as a speaker. I'm not seen for ages. Goodness me, since last time you're in Dubai. So hopefully, Kimberly, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. And I want to check with everybody that we can be heard properly. You're live on across different platforms now. So we're going on to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope and Twitter. I'm hoping that you're loud enough as well. Let me
Can you
just.
hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can just check with everybody. Anybody who's watching, and especially on LinkedIn, could you just say if you can hear Kimberly? Kimberly, tell me what you've been up
Hello,
to.
mic test. Yeah, I'm Kimberly Flowers. Thanks for having me, Dave. I'm super excited on this late night. It's late night here in Texas. It's about 2 a.m. And I saw you on here, and I thought, oh, what is he talking about? I want to jump on, and so I'm excited to join you today, adding value where I can.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm just wondering, it's a faint sound, so you're not very loud, unfortunately. Let me see if I can raise your. I'm actually just. We're using the speaker from the phone because I was hoping I could get it through the system, but we haven't worked out yet. But let's just continue anyway. I'm sure people will let us know if the sound gets better as a result of doing it. So, with this in mind, why are you up at this time in the morning?
Very good question. I was actually I'm just getting incorporated with the whole Clubhouse thing. So I was joining a bunch of different groups, and I saw one that had like YouTube, and they were talking about like growth on YouTube and things like that. And I saw your room open, and I thought, oh, what is Dave talking about over here? And I saw 10 reasons why you're amazing. So I decided to join in and contribute to the conversation about why people are amazing.
And that's a good reason to have you here. I'm just going to experiment because I think the only way to practice whether this is going to be loud enough is probably actually to only go by doing it like this. Let me just see if I can play any louder here. Sound doesn't seem to be coming through, but you're certainly coming through the speakers, which is fantastic.
Okay.
So one of the things that I was looking at with this whole platform on Clubhouse is it seems to be a bit like a. I like to think of it like a radio station, but a live podcast radio station. It seems to be like that for anybody who's not been initiated to it before. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, I would definitely. I feel like Clubhouse is like where podcasting is going in the way of like interactive podcast, right? So it gives you this rare opportunity to really connect with people real time and invite them into the conversation while you're live. So like, I love that you're doing this like kind of a demonstration or testing that you're doing, because I was thinking about doing some of the same stuff. So it's interesting because I specialize in live stream video and really helping people to monetize and leverage their platform that way. But I wanted to incorporate this whole like Clubhouse conversational piece because I think it gives real live real-time engagement to other people that want to become not just content creators but really content contributors in the process of the content that we are creating online and adding value to people that way.
I agree completely. I think what I may be doing actually in the future is adding a speaker to this so it can pick up properly through the microphone, because normally what happens is as soon as I go live with my phone, it just booms out through this broadcast system. But for some reason today it doesn't seem to want to play, but that's fine. As long as we can still hear you, then that's important. Now, in the US, lockdown has not been fun. You guys have had it worse than most places, maybe with the exception of UK and a few other countries. How are you managing to cope as a speaker and a connector with that?
I think a lot of people, business owners and, all over the world really, but like primarily probably in the US, are really starting to realize the importance of having a digital presence online in order to just stay in business at this point, right?
Yep.
So a lot of businesses that are used to maybe just relying on the traffic, like the driving traffic for people to find them and things like that, are now realizing that I have to think differently about how I'm doing customer acquisition. And so for a lot of people, that means, leveraging live stream. That means getting in like Clubhouse to really start to do their networking in a digital space rather than going to their local networking meetings and things like that. Physically, they're able to jump on a conversation or jump on a room and really meet people in a digital space. But I think it's good because I think it's pushing people to go past their normal, especially for people in different age groups. It's pushing them to experience things that they wouldn't ordinarily. They would just say, oh, this is for the young people, this is for the people, the millennials of today, and then we'll leave it to them. Now it's kind of forcing them out of their comfort zone, but really into a place of expansion as it pertains to networking and customer acquisition online.
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, I mean, I mentioned earlier the fact I find it's a lot more comfortable to be able to reach. I mean, you and I, we've not had a chat for ages. And here we are, just instantly bumping into a conversation. Now, what I've done, which is, and I know my friend Marlon has said you need to get a direct line in from the phone, which I have got, but the live stream is not coming. What I've done is my wife's come up and popped up a speaker, which I've done Bluetooth. So I just want to check with people watching whether this is actually loud enough for people to be able to hear what you're saying, because it sounded super tinny before. I've put your speaker next to the microphone. So Mika before was saying that it needed a little bit more volume. Does that sound better now? Does that sound okay?
You sound loud and clear on my end. You have to ask the audience on that end.
Absolutely. I'm just checking to see, as people are watching, exactly what the broadcast seems like from their end and whether it seems good. Because if this is the case, then we've kind of cracked the code. As much as you can crack the code and doing something different. Because I was listening to a couple of different sessions over the last couple of days. Some of them have got some really fascinating speakers. But I just think that if we're living in a multimedia world where you've got the opportunity to really broadcast, there we go, Mika says it sounds fantastic now. When you've got a chance to broadcast and reach people, then why are we still doing it? It seems like to go down the podcast route and not go live on a TV show is like 2D compared to the 3D or augmented reality version that we could really have nowadays.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are shy, Dave. Like, when it comes to digital, presentation, it's kind of a learned skill. Like, a lot of people who are used to even just, jumping into a networking conversation live and saying, hey, I'd love to have your business card. This is what I do. They've been trained, how to create and sustain that conversation locally. But when it comes to a camera, it's a different conversation. And although some people, find it easier to speak to a camera, some people are like more intimidated because they realize that camera is maybe representation of not just 10 people or 5 people, in the room. It can really mean the difference between like thousands of people on the other side of that camera. So that can be intimidating for a lot of people. So I think, transitioning the mindset around like how you're showing up with your videos and how you're showing up on a live stream to really focus in on the fact that you're adding value to someone else, I think is key, right? Because when you can focus on the value that you're adding, you won't be focused on yourself. You won't be focused on what other people are thinking about you while you're live. Does that make sense? So
Completely.
it is a little bit of a mindset shift in presentation. But I think if you can master that, if you can, really grab hold in your mind about, what I'm doing is adding value to somebody else, and what I'm offering is something that someone else needs, then you can get past your own self kind of like insecurities and really be able to, show up powerfully on video.
I think so, and I think getting over yourself on video is a major thing for this year, because previously, before lockdown, 80% of the internet was video, and I think now I don't know what the percentage are, but it's going to be even bigger. This is something that I was reading about a couple of days ago. What do you know, Kimberly, about the metaverse?
About the what?
Exactly, the metaverse.
The Methodists?
No, not Methodists. Don't go on about Methodists. We don't go religion on this show. No, meta as in META, verse as in... No, metaverse. I've got you on the spot now. That's what I thought. I had to Google it. The metaverse is the world that exists in the gaming world already. So people have avatars and they move around and they connect with each other and they just live in there, which is perfectly fine. If you're playing Second Life or you're playing, I don't know, Fortnite, then you're pretty much used to being in there, having your own avatar and doing stuff. Now, the thing is, this last year, a lot of people have experimented with creating conferences and so on. And I've been on a couple of conferences where you speak as an avatar, like a Lara Croft version of yourself in front of a podium. But what's happening now is that augmented reality and virtual reality are blurring that whole thing. And so what we're starting to find is not the death of the social media influencer, but the metaverse influencer. So people are becoming big hits in this augmented world. And I haven't been in it yet, so it's clearly not me. But I'm not sure if it's the real people or it's the avatars. Because if it's the avatars, then it's very close to that Ready Player One movie that came out recently. But it's a fascinating thing, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's interesting that you say that, Dan, because this weekend, like, I went to my sister's home in Michigan, and she took us to this virtual reality, like, gaming center, and I never even put it, like, on an Oculus or anything like that. But I was always like fascinated. I'm always fascinated with technology and the newness of how things are done. But so it's basically like you go into this place. Each they have these little booths, right?
Yeah.
And you can play these games with one another. So we have there was like 5 of us that were playing the same game and interacting with one another through the game. But you were looking to the left, and you were looking to the right, and you were looking forward, and you were moving forward, and you were literally like engaging in a whole other alternate reality. And I really did. I started to think about the powerful implications or the powerful opportunities for how we could use this type of technology for virtual events, and for things that are like really helping people. Like you can get on this stage, right, in your living room, right now, you can go on tour without ever having to get on a plane, without ever having to, pack a bag. You're able to go to places, all over the world. You're able to go to the U.S. You're able to go to, London. You're able to go to Dubai, wherever it is that you want to go, and you can do it all from your living room with the power of virtual technology. So I think when it comes to virtual technology, I do feel like it's the way of the future, and the convenience of becoming an avatar as opposed to I think that's one of the things that makes Clubhouse so attractive is that it's all audio, right? Like, so I don't have to get dressed. I don't have to jump on the broadcast and do my makeup and all of this stuff, like to be powerfully, show up and contribute to the conversation. And so the same is true with virtual reality. I think we're going to continue to see in 2021, the power of this technology and the convenience of it, making it something that becomes an everyday, the new normal, essentially.
Absolutely. Well, I recently did an event, GITEX, in Dubai, which is a huge IT related event. And we had thousands of, I mean, literally, it was just the beginning of December. And they'd spent a fortune to make sure it was socially distanced and it was safe and
Mm-hmm.
everyone was wearing masks. But it was a proper conference with thousands of people attending. And it was
Yeah.
really strange to experience because the rest of the world, you can't leave your house. But Dubai clearly had made a decision that we will prove to the world that Dubai is up and running and doing it better than most places.
I
And
love it.
so, as a result of that, it became really exciting to be a host and presenter at that event. And so, I think that we're going to see a combination, a hybrid of these kind of events in the future. Of course, we won't all be in lockdown, and the vaccine will make a difference. But while we're speaking on stage, and I was interviewing people, and I had people being beamed in through Zoom and Avaya and different networks like that. We're also being streamed to people who are watching at home. And
Yep.
that means literally that you've got this incredible reach that most events just didn't pay attention to. And I think that
Yeah.
so you're going to end up with a very intimate group of maybe even like send 10 to 100 people attend an event, but you could have hundreds of thousands watching at home, certainly within the company or just across different conferences. And I find that a really good thing because that would have taken 10 years to arrive. But now it
Right.
just seems like the real step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. With growing technology comes this level of convenience and added visibility because of convenience. Instead of jumping on a plane, now I can just experience the entire thing as you intended it to be, live through virtual reality, through some sort of virtual event. That's why I'm so big on live stream. I'm so big on presentation, the power of presentation through live stream, because I understand the power of influence when it comes to video, like how you show up in your videos and how you're showing up in the presentation of what you're doing is really evoking a level of emotions from your audience that allows you to, be able to predict, how they are going to respond to that thing. So, I think video for me, is a major tool to, it becomes an essential tool for business professionals and entrepreneurs and Fortune 500 companies everywhere to really learn how to master creating a virtual atmosphere, for lack of better words, that is evoking a level of emotion that will get people excited and inspire them to take action right now. And I think people are doing that more than ever, and we'll continue to see a growth in that into 2021.
I agree. I think that, I mean, there's so many people who are absolutely petrified of going live, which is fantastic for people who don't mind because, I
Yeah.
mean, I had no idea. I mean, literally, in the time that we spent doing this, my brain's working over, thinking about different ways that I can enhance a broadcast, make it look different. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
from my wife bringing up my portable speaker, you going straight through that seamlessly to become louder as a broadcaster and lots of other things like that, which make it all look much better. I think that we're really in an interesting space where I think that we haven't touched on anything the way that it's going to be. I think for the corporates, CEOs now really have to embrace the idea of speaking live and not hiding behind their PR team. Because, for instance, if we had a conversation about the future of, I don't know, Clubhouse, for instance. Now,
Yeah.
I don't expect for a second, so I've just literally joined Clubhouse to get the
Yeah.
CEO of Clubhouse on. But if he was a spokesperson and could jump on live and then spread the word and chat all about how effective it is, then you end up with a couple of thousand extra converts jumping on, depending on how many people are following this broadcast. Most CEOs don't do that. Most CEOs hide behind the fact that they want to hear from their PR team what they should and shouldn't say. But I think that the moment passes far too quickly. Whether you like him or don't like him, and many people don't, so I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump too much, he was very effective at just going live on screen around the world, saying what he wants to say, and having an impact. And I think that's left a template for mini-me versions, whatever your politics are, to be able to say, you know what, I can embrace just broadcasting, because the norms of waiting to see what our PR team is going to put out as a press release and then taking interviews is too slow. It's too late. I can move the goalposts and get things effective
Right.
now. I mean, as we're talking now, we've got, I don't know how many people are watching across all the platforms, but I came back from walking the dogs and I thought, right, let's jump on and let's see what happens. And before we continue, actually, I think because you've joined me, you've been very gracious with your time at crazy o'clock in the morning. Can you tell people more about who you are and what you do and how they can connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kimberly Flowers, the visual branding expert, remote producer, founder of Remote Producer Live. We have a company where we produce online TV shows and virtual events for our clients. So a lot of people are learning how to navigate in this whole space of digital technology and how to go live and how to monetize live for their business. And so for a long time, we taught people how to, monetize their live stream and how to create, professional looking video and TV ready content that attracts the kind of people that you really want to serve. But during that time, we got a lot of requests for people like Kimberly, Remote Producer Live. We just want you to like do it for us. And so that's how Remote Producer Live was really born. And so we've taken on the technology burden so that our clients don't have to do it. So they are the host in front of the show, and we literally produce their show live. They are assigned a remote producer, and that person is navigating them through the content, through commercials, through guests, through videos or images that are relevant to their content. We do it all, and so it's a done-for-you solution for our clients, and so we're excited about doing that. And obviously, with today's atmosphere that we're kind of in right now, we've experienced a massive growth in just that process. We've been doing it for about 5 years, but this way, in the way of the done-for-you solution, but just experienced a massive growth within the pandemic and things like that. People just literally trying to figure out like, what is it going to take for me to continue doing what we do well in front of more people and not really suffer from not having to stay at home. And so that's kind of how we have like built that. It's kind of like where it came from, and that's kind of how we've grown over the last I would say 9 months or so. We've really grown like in exponential numbers since that time, but we've been doing it for about 5 years, and it's been super successful. Our clients love it because they're, I think a lot of people are scared even right now because they're like, man, I have to master a whole new skill in order for me to like,
Yeah, you
master
do.
live streaming. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna take me a huge learning curve just to learn how to present the way that's an accurate reflection of the brand that we represent. And then, once I learn it, then we gotta have somebody be the spokesperson. Then we have to have somebody develop the content. So that kind of takes the burden off of that for them, and it's been really successful. So we're really excited about just serving more people that way.
Fantastic. And I'm a real believer that I mean, we're talking 7+ billion people on the planet. You are not
Yeah.
competition to me or anybody else. There's enough people out there to serve enough people out there. We just need to get people who are stuck online and teach them how to do
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah, I would say there's enough sunshine for everybody to get a tan. When it comes to technology, there's always going to be people who are innovative and want to learn how to do it themselves, and then you have the other group of people who are like really really busy and successful in this area, and they want to focus in this area, and they really want to partner with somebody who's skilled at that thing so that they can help move them further faster in that direction. And so that's what we're seeing more and more of in the way of our particular clients. They're really busy professionals and they're great at what they do, but a lot of them up until this point have been kind of oblivious about how they're showing up while they do what they do. And so partnering with our company has really helped them move in a direction of accurately representing the company that they represent.
No, I agree with you completely, and that's before we start looking at the metaverse as well. My good friend Jeff Smith's
Yeah.
just jumping in there and saying that most people don't realize how to do this broadcasting. But the people that should be really worried are your conventional radio, TV, magazines,
Oh yeah.
newspapers, who have always said, we've got a big team, we do it ultra professionally. I mean, this is you and me just having a chat. I'm driving it all from my laptop. I got it rung up first. I've kind of made it a little bit better now. We've got a big audience watching all around the world. You're in the US. Whereabouts in the US are you right now?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas, US.
Fantastic. So you and I are talking from across the world, and no grown-ups are coming in and directing this. We can just do it directly. And if we're driving it for commercial reasons, that would work out perfectly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much the opportunity that can be had in platforms like this, Dave, that it really is exciting. Like, you're only limited by your own creativity as it pertains to what it is that you want to present and how do you want to present the content that you're creating and how you're going to connect that to the products and services that you are providing for people and communicating that valuable to those people.
I agree completely. I'm going to jump into the reason for originally starting this session, apart from just being nosy to see if it would work. And can you see your screen? Are you watching on a platform right now? Are you on LinkedIn or Facebook?
I've started to get on LinkedIn. I'm actually still in Clubhouse right now, but I'm navigating as we're speaking to the live stream here.
Okay, well, if you look on any of the platforms, I'm going live onto LinkedIn, onto Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitter, because I want you to be able to see the screen as I'm sharing it right now, because there's a tiny little me in the corner, and there's a woman looking very depressed, which is the picture that I wanted to have, because I wanted to share today's session all about good reasons to be happy in what's coming up in the next year, because one of the things that I really believe is when people turn around and they say, 2000, when it goes to New Year, they say, oh yeah, 2021 will be completely different. And I don't think it will be any different. I've always thought that what 2021 will be like is when they jam an extra movie into the Harry Potter series or the Hunger Games, and you go, why did he put that in? And they just do it because they know they can get more money out of people for doing it, but it's actually just an extension of the story. So 2021 is going to be like 2020, but starting at the back end of the year and just more of the same, but less shock, if that makes sense.
I agree, yep.
Which is interesting. So with this, can you see the screen now? Are you there? Are you with me?
I do, yep.
Okay, wonderful. It's a very depressed looking person there blowing a nose, and it looks like it's drooping on my head, which is not particularly good. But I wanted to share what I think are 10 reasons why people should feel positive about themselves, especially despite the fact that pandemic or no pandemic, if you are social distancing, wearing masks, and looking forward to the vaccine, then that's not the big challenge. I know you've got to look after your mental health as much as your physical health. It's what do we do with these new opportunities next, as opposed to what we've lost, which is what most people seem to be in a mental state about. So with this, I want to share a couple of ideas. First of all, and I'll get your comment on each one, the idea of learning to reframe everything that's not working for you and understanding that whether something's a tragedy or or whatever, it sends you a message about what you can deal with, and every problem could be an opportunity. How do you feel about that? Because you're a pretty positive person anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So I totally agree with every challenge can be an opportunity. I think some of the most innovative ideas come from challenges that people have, right? So like they're inspired to come up with solutions because they had problems that needed solving. And so I think some of the most innovative solutions that we have in the world right now are due to somebody facing a challenge and somebody answering it with a positive attitude and a will to do and a will to solve a problem that they're having.
I completely agree with that. Number two, the fact that you're alive means something. I don't mean to say in a horrible way about the people that we've lost in 2020, but being alive means you've got huge opportunities to just start again and start again every day, because people make New Year's resolutions and go, right, I'm going to reinvent myself starting from the end of the year. But why not just do it on a regular basis, as and when you can pace it in your own time? And if you drop off the wagon and you suddenly decide to eat cream cakes because you felt like it, then just don't eat cream cakes the day after. And it kind of works like that. So, I mean, the odds of us being alive anyway, if you look back to our origins, are virtually zero from when we first, I mean, I don't want to go into some kind of Darwinian science history lesson, but the odds of us being around anyway, from mummy and daddy loving each other and having babies, and them surviving the pestilence and the war and the famine and starvation, and then them having babies, going back thousands and thousands of years to our origins, the odds of us existing are virtually zero. So everyone should take a big deep breath and say, well, I am here. I might as well enjoy it. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a friend who says, today is my January 1st, every single day throughout the year. And he says that, as an inspiration to other people to let you know that every day that comes is a new day that you can start again. Like if things didn't go the way that you wanted yesterday, the wonderful thing about life is that we have the power to choose. We have the power of will to decide, like, yesterday didn't go like how I planned it, but today is going to be an awesome day. Today I'm going to thrive. Today I'm going to be successful. And today I'm going to be open to new opportunities and the beauty that is life. And so I think, I think people can kind of sometimes feel like, starting over can be somewhat of a negative connotation, like, oh my God, I have to do all this stuff all over again. But I think, reinventing how you're doing what you're doing every single day is key, and it's important, to the progress of your life. Like every day you should be getting better, doing more, and even challenging yourself with more so that you can find out what you're truly capable of. I think, just having a good life and having a life that is like where everything goes your way can really limit your capacity to understand who it is that you really are in life. And so having challenges and having things like that, I think, expand our capacity to understand what we're really capable of and what we are able to create in this life.
So what you're saying is basically, if you've got no money and you're stuck in your house and you worry about rent and everything, you're so lucky to have won the lottery of life because you've got so many challenges you can deal with. I'm not sure everyone's going to buy into that though.
Well, it's all about perspective, Dave. At the end of the day, it's all about perspective. Like, I think, most successful people have failed more than they have been successful. And, you kind of have a shift in perspective about failing if you're somebody who is, a success in the making, right? Because it takes experimentation to some level. Like, you try things, it didn't work. You tried things, it didn't work. You tried it this way, it didn't work. But, some people will look at that and say, like, oh my God, I'm a failure in life. And then other people will look at that and say, you know what? I found 50 different ways it didn't work, but this way may be the next, way that it works. And so being confident that, like, okay, I didn't find the solution today, but I will find it. I think that knowledge, that faith that you have in your heart about what it is that you're looking to accomplish, just deciding that there is no failure. Like, there is only, an understanding of what doesn't work in this process and really, getting you closer to the thing that will work, right? So it's all about perspective. I think if you can master your mind in this life, you can master this life and really live the kind of life that makes you happy and the kind of life that, books and stories and legends are built on.
You're so smart. It's like listening to myself as a motivational speaker. If you just joined us, by the way, we're live on Clubhouse and live across LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitter, joined by the amazing Kimberly Flowers, and we're discussing 10 reasons why you're amazing. If you want to join onto Clubhouse and find us, it's only available on iPhone right now, then please do. If not, if you're watching on any of the platforms, then just leave a comment, say hi. Got any questions for us, by the way, throw it in as well. And we'd love to find out where you are, what you're up to, and what your own particular spin is on what we've talked about so far. Do you have a website, by the way, that Kimberly people can look at? Do you want to tell me which that is?
Yeah, if you go to remoteproducerlive.com, that's remoteproducerlive.com. You'll just kind of see like what we do for our clients in the way of production, and also some samples of how we, produce really amazing results for our clients.
Fantastic. We'll look for that and we'll see if we can get it up as well so I can share that with everybody. Okay, let me just check to see if I can get that on the screen here. And that should be what we're looking at now. There we go. There's a website, as if by magic. So
Awesome.
that's how people can contact you. And there's your video, which we're not going to put the sound up on that just now. But that's who we're talking to, folks. Lovely Kimberly Flowers. broadcasting all the way from the US, and you should connect with her on all media platforms anyway, and see what she's up to, and see how you connect with her. Her team to improve your business too. We're just basically having a good old chinwag about the things that we can do. Now, here's one of the things before we actually go back to the questions we're asking. You've got this beautiful site, which obviously shows all the different things that you can do and are doing for people. I believe that this is really the year for the side hustle and startup, not least because people lost their jobs, but also because you should really have more than one string to the bow. How difficult do you think it is for people to get up and running, like creating an amazing website like this, which has got all the singing, dancing bits that you need? Do you think you need to have something as strong as this to start getting out there?
I think people get, caught up sometimes in profession, and though I am an advocate of showing up powerfully, I will also tell you that it's important to be willing to show up where you are. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is that, like, you are going to constantly get better and better over time. So if I go back to my first video days, like, honestly, I'd be embarrassed to show you guys because I was in my house or my apartment at the time. And I was creating my first video, and there was no one in the room. It was just me and literally my camera. And I promise you, I was shaking with fear because I was so used to being behind the camera and building things for other people that when it came to being, the spokesperson of my own business and my own brand, like, I was just, racked with nerves. And so, but if I hadn't taken that opportunity, even fearful, like, if I hadn't taken the opportunity to continue to start, first of all, and then be consistent in the process of, creating content, then I wouldn't be where I am today, or as comfortable, even just being on a conversation like this one right now. So I want to encourage you to start where you are and not be afraid to not be the best starting out. You're going to get better, and as your brand develops, people are going to be excited about the genuine authenticity of the growth of your brand anyway. I have people email me and message me every day talking about, like, I used to follow you way back when you were just starting, and, you've grown so much since then, and, like, just really excited about where the business is headed and where the brand is headed. And so for those of you that are out there that are thinking, to yourself, I can't get started until it's absolutely perfect, I'm going to encourage you to, get rid of that mindset and just start where you are. And then as you get little pieces and people are, training and things like that, or partner with other, people that are professionals and doing what you do, then you'll see the increase of that, growing and growing. But you can't get anything in the way of progress if you don't start.
Completely.
Start.
I mean, my phrase is jump and grow wings on the way down. And I think that that's a great way to position yourself right now. Take calculated risks. I mean, this session, anybody who's just joined us, by the way, welcome to Speak on Stage Live. I'm joined by Kimberly Flowers. We're talking about new technology and talking about Clubhouse, which is an app that everyone's been buzzing about. Not everybody, a small group of people have been buzzing about, but it's gonna hopefully go into something that's really a good opportunity for more people to play. But I think for many people, it's just a case of, oh, I'll wait until everyone else is using it. And that's a big problem because by the time everyone else is using it, you've missed your opportunity to go out there and do something with it because there's too much clutter and too many people. Okay, let's move back to the list, which is number 4. All our challenges are designed to be exactly what we need to deal with, and that we are enough to deal with every challenge that we have. This is a big issue for many people because, especially in the commercial world or a capitalist world, I'm not knocking the fact that commercial reasons are great, but we were previously driven to believe that the better looking we are, the better car we have, the better clothes we have, the bigger house that you have, all these things are aspirational. That's what you should be working towards until you get into lockdown and suddenly there is no red carpet, there is no opening of a movie, there are no glamorous people on TV. And so you start looking at what you have and go, actually, I've got a meal on the table in front of me. I can connect with my family and my friends anytime. I've got work coming in, or at least possibilities for work options in the future. I didn't need tons of those other things. Who I am is actually probably just me. And that's not a bad start. Would you agree? You go quiet. Do you disagree with me completely?
Yeah, no. I mean, I definitely agree. I think, these feelings of inadequacy come from a place of people constantly comparing their life Instagram post or somebody else's Facebook post, right? Like we see everybody on social media seems so super successful because they are posting the highlights of what is amazing and what's great going on in their life, and those are good things to highlight. I definitely am. I'm here for it, right? But at the same time, there's so many people who are looking at these posts and feeling like, man, I don't have what I need to be successful because I don't have what she has. I don't have what Dave has. I don't have what, anybody in the audience has. Like, so a lot of times we can tend to limit what we're capable of because we say in our mind immediately based on the comparison that we make with other people that I'm not enough. And I think that is a crippling thought process, and it's something that we have to really, really work ourselves into another type of mindset to really say that, you know what, I have been created perfect as I am. And who I am is able to and is equipped to handle all that I handle in my life and to be able to masterfully, go through it or whatever, like to be a master and to dominate this area of my life. I'm born to be not just a survivor of my life, but really somebody who can create, masterfully in this life and achieve masterfully in this life. And I have everything I need to be able to do it.
I completely agree. I think that one of the biggest problems is, again, because of commercial aspects of what everybody has, thinking that I could do better. But the truth is, unless you're born a certain way in a certain country with certain opportunities and certain amounts of money already in the family, you are unlikely to get to the same levels of people who have those advantages. Doesn't mean that you can't get to certain levels, but what you should be is racing against yourself in your lifetime. It's you versus you, not you versus anybody else, because they're doing their own thing. It's incredible, especially in 2000. I mean, one of my heroes, I'm sure, is the same for you as well, Chadwick Boseman, who passed away tragically in 2020. Clearly, one of the actors of his generation, clearly changed the culture of many people of color and of all description, with the Black Panther movies and the Avengers and so on. He only stayed with us for 43 years, but what an impact over 43 years. We'll always mourn the things that could have come next. But it doesn't mean that you don't do the best with what you have. And I think that's a real lesson for everybody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that I'll do better when I have this. I'll feel better when I have this, right? And I think Chadwick Boseman's life was a reflection of, not waiting until circumstances and situations were perfect to get, to do the most right now. Like he was literally shooting movies, in stage 4, cancer and things like that. Like we didn't know, we were none the wiser of this what was really going on in his life at that time, but he was masterfully producing, masterfully creating, even though the circumstances in his life were not, what somebody else, other people in the same circumstance would have just relented, I would say, to the bed and just decided like, oh man, this is, the end. And they would just wait for the end to come. But I think for Chadwick Boseman, I think the lesson that we learned from him is that don't wait for things to be perfect to do and create what you want right now. It really, it goes again back to the battlefield of the mind, understanding that if you win there, you win everywhere.
I agree completely. I don't think that we get that lovely opportunity to see what's coming. All we can do is deal with the cards that we've got right now. And certainly, lockdown or not lockdown, this is a huge opportunity just even to go online and connect the way that we're doing right now. I mean, there's nothing like we can do that's particularly different to what anybody else can do under these circumstances, apart from the fact that as speakers, certainly for me as a full-time speaker and trainer, I realized that when we went into lockdown, everything would evaporate. I still had a family and mouths to feed. So if I didn't learn how to do this stuff, then I was stuck. Nobody's going to come around my house and sit in my garden and say, Dave, we'll pay you $10,000 to tell us all about your life. Or at least not yet. And so probably not the people I'd want to come around. So we have opportunities. Number 5, nobody warned us that this was coming. If they had, would your response have been any different? I don't think mine would have been much different because I think that because most of my life I've spent running my own businesses and doing my own thing, this is just another challenge. This is like a new piece of legislation, or this is like a travel ban, or this is like something where you go, okay, so I've got to pivot, I've got to change something. So for me, even though it was very extreme, it was still doable. I've been quite lucky in the fact that my business has been flexible. But saying that, being a speaker, most speakers I know are still going free onto Facebook and just talking, hoping that somebody will hire them or something. And I think that that is the big challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, like powerfully successful people are always students at the heart of it. Like we're teachers, and we, will like leaders and things like that, influencers. At yes, that's what people see on the forefront. But I think in the back end, we're all students, right? Like we are masterful students, and so whenever life, pivots and things like that, we're constantly looking for how do we, create opportunity in this area? What can I learn from this situation? How can I leverage what I've learned from this situation? And I think adopting the mindset of a highly successful person or a highly productive person starts with being a student of life. You know what I mean? And technology. Being open to like the opportunities that are in your face. Like you said, nobody's gonna come and tell you like just be on the front door and constantly be adding value to you in that way. There's some value in this life that you have to seek. Seeking you will find, right? And so I think as we stay open to being students of life and students of ourselves and students of our circumstances and students of culture, we definitely will always stay abreast and ahead of the curve when it comes to, how to monetize anything.
I agree. I also think that number six illustrates this with a splinter effect. You whatever you focus on is what your brain will start working on improving for you. So your brain's like a supercomputer, and it's waiting for you to program it. If you think about negative stuff every single day, your brain goes, right, the boss is thinking about negative stuff, so let's concentrate on what's negative. If you think about these are opportunities, the brain goes, really? Opportunities? Okay, let's find opportunities. So it's like a splinter. If you focus on the pain it gives you, then it's always going to be there, even if it's tiny. But if you can just go, you know what, I don't know what I can do next, but maybe I should ask better questions, then I think that's a real impact we should be considering as well.
I agree. Have you read the book Think and Grow Rich
Many
by
times.
Napoleon Hill? Bro, like I love that book, and it really has changed my life and my perspective around a lot of what I do. I think because sometimes when you're faced with challenges in your life, it can become like this overwhelming, sense of piling on negativity. Like this happened, and oh my God, like I become a victim of my own life. And I don't know if anybody who's watching this broadcast has ever felt like that in their life before. But if you have in the comments, let us know. Like, say, Kimberly, I've been there. Dave, I've been there, right? It can be this like overwhelming depression that happens when you feel like you're a victim of your own circumstances because negativity, and the more you're thinking about it, we don't even realize the more that we're thinking about it, the more that we're entertaining these thoughts, the more that it's compounding, the more that it's being attracted to us. And so I want to encourage you guys to Dave's point here when it comes to mindset and focusing in on the things that you really want to achieve. It's like riding a bike. Like if you ride a bike and you look at the tree, you know what I mean, then you're gonna start swerving into the tree. But if you focus on the road, focus on what's ahead, focus on the positive things, then you'll start to manifest things as well. And I think learning the art of having faith and understanding how faith is manifested in your life is how you can start to manifest things in your life based on the faith that you're having for different things is going to be what's key for any type of person. I don't care if you're a business professional or you are a stay-at-home mom, you are, whatever it is that you want in your life, you have to master faith first. And I think that is like, really key to helping people, create what they want in their life and feel confident about that thing.
Absolutely. Well, understanding the rules of how things play is so essential because if you don't know the rules, you'll always be thinking about, am I missing out on something? And I think
Right.
that, right,
You're just wishing at that point.
But I think the rules are changing so fast nowadays that you, by the time you've caught up with something, just expect change, expect to be uncomfortable and out of your comfort zone all the time, which is what I love. I mean, we've been talking now for quite some time, which is fantastic. In fact, I remember when you were in Dubai, we probably talked for about this long in the entire time when we were hanging out because there's so many other conversations that were going on at the same time. But with this now, it just goes to show this would never have happened if we hadn't taken a risk. And you jumped on to the conversation, and hopefully, I'm introducing you to a whole new group of people. And you graced me with your presence on the show, which means that we're going through a number of different things. You're contributing a ton of great information. I'm sure people are writing down. Glenn Allen Gifford, thanks for your conversation, and also Marlon Cruz, who's been with us all the way through, saying that he's loving the conversation too. That have really enhanced people just by jumping and growing wings on the way down. So it's fascinating to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these are kind of conversations that influencers have among themselves, period. Like, this is what we talk about. This is what drives us. This is what, at the end of the day, like, you and I love having these types of conversations because that's what we feed on. That's what we think about all day is what can we create? What opportunities can we create for other people? Like, what can we, you know, create? At the end of the day, like, we're obsessed with creating amazing things for, whether they're solutions for other people, whether they're opportunities for the people that we love. Like, we're constantly looking to create more things. And I think, like you said, understanding the rules, like when you're talking about understanding how things work, by the time you get to one learning experience, it seems like things have shifted. The cool thing about that is understanding that life is lived on principle. And though, different rules and different technologies and different, things change, principles stay the same. Principles are the things that you want to focus your energy on because those things are going to create, an understanding of how to create in general. Like, how do I fundamentally create success in my life? How do I fundamentally attract love in my life? How do I fundamentally attract all of the good things that I wish for and turn them into things that I, choose to have, that I will into my life, right? And I think, understanding the process for that is key for people, and understanding that it is a process. Most people think that, some people are just lucky in life. They're just, and other people are victims of bad luck in life. And they're not understanding that there is a principle at work here. Like, and if you work the principle, you'll get the results that you're looking for.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that limits people is also, and this is point number 7, your body is the finest piece of engineering ever. You've got a living, thinking, breathing machine that learns and loves. So while we're talking about new technology, to add to it, you already start off with a Rolls Royce to drive around in, which is your body. So when you start thinking about that, all the rest of it is just extension on things that you already have to play with. So people who are just thinking, oh, I've got to buy this and got to buy that. You don't. I mean, we could do this literally from a mobile phone to each other. So you don't need to have all singing or dancing. You are, exactly. There you go. And I've got this crazy sort of Star Trek sort of setup in front of me. I'm not sure what half of it does, to be honest with you. But it doesn't matter. The point is that you can start off just by having a phone, and most people, or a fair percentage of the planet, have access to a mobile phone and the internet. So you could run a business immediately and start connecting with people just by deciding to download an app and deciding to get the internet going through it.
Yeah, I think if you are, intimidated by technology, some of these conversations feel a little bit like a drudge. Like, I don't want to do this. I never wanted to be involved in technology, but I think, when it comes to progress, technology is just a huge part of that, and you have to embrace being a student of technology, whether or not it's something that you want to master yourself or it's something that you need a person in your team to master. You have to make space for, the development of technology and understanding how it works at a fundamental level so that you can accomplish what it is that you want to in your life and in your business. Because at the end of the day, even though it seems like a learning curve at the front, it really makes life more convenient. Because long gone are the days that, like, you have to literally knock on people's door and campaign for your business in that way, like more like a politician, right? You can literally start to create ads and start to create, I would say you can create a buzz around your company based on, the different technologies that you use, and learning how to use that in a way that really helps to move you further faster is going to be key in your business. So just embrace it, guys. Wherever you are in your life right now, if you are listening to today's podcast and listening to today's live stream and thinking to yourself like, I know this is something that I need to do, but I haven't taken the dive to do this, and I really need to partner with somebody, partner with Dave, partner with myself. Like, these are people that can help you move further faster in what it is that you're doing. We can take your vision and complete the fragments and help you make it whole and turn it into something that really serves you and your business right now. And I think, we can find a relationship. At the end of the day, we're working with people. People say B2B, B2C, whatever, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's B to H, which is, business to human. It's a human to human contact. And, when you're working with people, if you can find somebody who knows what they're doing, connect with them, and, let them leverage your strengths. That's what relationship is all about, right? Like, you're strong where I'm weak. You do this well, I do this well. Like, let's come together and build bigger and do more.
Absolutely. But one of the things I find fascinating is the thing called a centaur. Now, a centaur is when artificial intelligence comes together with human thinking. And it's better than a human on its own. It's better than artificial intelligence on its own. Now, for people saying, what do you mean, Dave? Think about Iron Man. You know, when Iron Man, Tony Stark's in his helmet and he's got Jarvis or Friday. Sadly, Iron Man is no longer with us, so we can't talk about that. But I've just spoiled it for lots of people who haven't seen it. But it's their own fault. You should have watched it during lockdown. But the ability to interact with your artificial intelligence is something that can really... I mean, last night, putting my daughter Maya to bed, she's 10 years old, and for her birthday, I got a Google Home. So she's got this little disc thing that she's able to just... And I said to her, why don't you set your alarm? She goes, I don't really want to talk to it right now. I said, well, look, it's there for you. It is a friend you can use and access whenever you want. Why don't you just say to it, it's bedtime? So she said, okay, it's bedtime. And suddenly this thing piped up and said, okay, we've got a special program for bedtime. Tell me what time you want to wake up. I'll set the alarm. And then I've got some music for you to relax to. At which point it just freaked out the daughter. She said, no, switch it off. I don't like it. But I think we're going to end up with a lot more of this. And there's a movie called Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson a couple of years ago where he fell in love with his phone. Now, that's all kinds of problems. I'm not going to talk about that. But the idea that you can actually have, say, like a butler service or a best friends service that could be in your phone that you could talk to, and with augmented reality, it could pop up as a physical being and sit on your laptop and walk around and talk to you. That's not so far-fetched. That'll happen this year.
Yeah, I think people think about learning technology as a burden, right? And most of the time, it's created to be more of a relief to you, like more of a service to you. It's like having a digital assistant, with you. Like, so technology, the Google Home thing, and I just, like, this Christmas, I just incorporated a full-on, like, smart home service for my home.
Wow.
So for bulbs and, like, locks and things like that, like, I was, like, my family graced me with some presents and things like that for the incorporation of these things. But I think, adding to this process, like, really, I understand people's fundamental fears. Let's be clear. Like, people that have, that are older, they are, and I'd say older for lack of a better word. I'm not that young myself, but
looking at me.
Understanding, right? But just understanding, like, the fear behind, there's fear behind any new progressive intelligence, especially technology. When it comes to technology, people are like, oh my God, like, I don't want the system to start, like, spying on me and things like that. There's I would say, like, there's precautions that you can take to make sure that your technology is only doing a certain thing for you and not doing other things for you. But within that process, it's fundamentally designed to make your life easier, right? And so I do think that progression in that area is important, for especially if you're a newbie and you're not really technically, like, you're not a techie entrepreneur. You're just amazing at this one thing, and you're amazing at doing this for other people, and you just really want other people to know how amazing you are at this thing. then coupling your skill set with technology is really going to help you get clients easier than you were getting them before. Like most people think about technology and they're overwhelmed automatically, Dave. They're automatically overwhelmed. They're just like, oh my God, like this means I'm gonna have to do this, I'm gonna have to do that, da da da. But I think partnering, this is the conversation around collaboration. Collaboration becomes so important in this space because there's some things that you should spend your time learning how to do just because fundamentally it's going to help you. But then there's other conversations where you don't have to know how it works. You just need to know that it's going to work for whatever objective that you're looking to create. And partnering with the right people becomes key for something like that. So partnering with, Dave or somebody that can help you, really leverage this conversation around technology growth and using it for the furtherance of what you're doing further faster is key.
And one of the things, I mean, who's listening, who's getting your data, all those things are a challenge. And I'm not convinced after the last 4 years of looking at the world that the powers that be have our best interests at heart. However, it is what it is. What do you want to do? Do you want to kick off? Do you want to spend time going around and switch off every device in the house? Or do you want to move forward? For me, it's simple. It is what it is. Move forward with what you got an opportunity to do. Because one of the things is there's a documentary recently called not The Social Dilemma. What was it called? And it was all about Facebook.
It was called The Social Dilemma, I think.
Was that the one? Okay. So The Social Dilemma had the makers of Facebook and YouTube and Snapchat and...
If y'all have not watched that, watch it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it basically had all the platform makers explaining, and they're all kind of looking at their feet like naughty boys and girls. And one of the things that freaked me out is how young they were. They're all like early 30s, late 20s, who created all WhatsApp, all these things. And they're talking about the development of their platforms. And one of the things that they said was it's not the platform that people are paying to sponsor. The bottom line is it's the people on the platform that are the platform. We have created a way of making people stay on our platform so then buyers and advertisers can do things with them. That was kind of scary.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like, real talk, there is some genius minds at work when it comes to how they are using their platform to influence. Like, influence. At the end of the day, I think this is the word for technology development. Like, yes, there are going to be some people who are out there looking to influence you based on technology. Like I think in that social dilemma thing, they actually like talked about like how they, if you haven't looked at your phone in 45 minutes, they're going to like send you with a notification and like, hey, so-and-so, like whatever they think that is most appealing to you in that moment so that you can get back on the platform, right? So that was a little scary to me, but low key, like at the same time, while these technology geniuses are thinking about ways for you to stay on their platform, obviously because that's a monetization platform for them. Like, I think we can learn a lot from those types of platforms about how you can really start campaigning for your business. I want to leave you with this idea, like, or what is it, Inception? Like, we're gonna throw in an idea for you. I want you to think about like, what if you could use technology to not only stay top of mind in front of your ideal audience, but what if you could use technology to really influence people to see your product, your service, your mission, your message as a priority or as something that is essential in their business development. Like, what would that look like for you? And so I want you, I say that not to like put you on the scared side of things, but really to look at the opportunities available. If they're doing this to create this like level of influence, what does that look like for you? And who do you need to connect with to be able to really monetize what it is that you're doing in a way that like is truly inspirational and influential to the kinds of people that you want to work with? What if I could ID the kind of person that says like, okay, this I do this particular thing for this particular demographic. But with this demographic, I have the power of influence. I have the power of being able to say, you know, you know, I would even say not even to say, but to insinuate, to influence people, to get them excited about buying your products and services. That becomes a powerful tool, and I think it's important for people not to just overlook that. Like if it's happening for somebody, if somebody else is doing it on their end, you can do it on your end as well, and you just need to partner with the right people. And I think this is the kind of environment to do that.
And I think that people are caught up with experiencing what they think everybody else is doing, so therefore there's not a market in it. There's 7 billion people. So I was chatting to a friend of mine the other day who visited Dubai, Nakia Cash, and she was talking about the fact that one of the things that she enjoys doing is making little gardens in her living room by growing pot plants. And I said that's a massive growth industry for all the people in lockdown, all the people who are single, all the people who wanted to have pets. My dog's just come in and I've just been petting over there. But that's something that there'll be a load of enthusiasts who will pay and watch your videos on how to look after bonsai trees or cacti. Not that you have to look after cacti that much. So any particular area that you're thinking about, maybe there's not a market. There's 1,000 people somewhere on the planet who will pay you to keep giving them information. And I think the beauty of it is being a micro-influencer rather than being an influencer. A micro-influencer is looking at having, say, maybe 5,000 to 100,000 people following. So the thing that's beautiful about that particular number, even 1,000 upwards, is everybody who connects with you knows that you will connect with them back because you're not so snowed under by having huge numbers. So therefore, they know there's a personal touch. And so that's a real sweet spot that I think is going to be a growth. And certainly for advertisers, they're not looking so much for the huge hitters because they demand huge money and they demand red carpet treatment. They're looking for people who are enthusiasts who know their subject because they've got real fans to communicate with.
I definitely agree with that. And, I think in general, the digital atmosphere, the social atmosphere that we're in right now, when it comes to, just kind of being closed in and, having to think differently about a lot of things in our life, I think home decor and home development, business development, personal development, like all of these platforms where people are thriving, I think are essential pieces. Like people are searching for these things right now more than ever. Like how to do their garden, like you were talking about, like just even general. Like I bought more, me personally, right? Like I have purchased more home decor things in the last 9 months than I probably ever have because I've had to be home. So what that means is that my home needs to look like the version of heaven that I can afford, right? And so, like having to be here in this space has caused me to really look at my space and be like, oh my God, like I need to, I want this to feel differently because I have to spend so much time here. And I've done like a whole little renovation on my place just based on having to be here. So for other people whose priorities are different things, when it comes to like home development, I think that's a huge market right now. Like gardening, there's a lot of my friends that are like really big into like building their own garden and understanding how crops work and how all of that stuff works, as well as technology, but as well as like just even woodworking. Like guys, whatever it is that you do well, there is a market for it right now. And I think it's important for people to understand that sometimes when you're good at something, Dave, like because you grew up with it, you've been, knowing that you're good at this whole time, and it becomes something that you overlook and think that like maybe there's not real value for it. Like it's just something that you do, right? Like I always did this. I never thought other people would pay me well for this, right? And I think it's important for people to start looking at what they do well and offering that to people who maybe don't do it as well. Like I've been looking up internal, decoration videos and just things like that, like just all kinds of stuff. Sewing. I bought a sewing machine, Dave.
What's one of them?
Yeah, and I've been thinking about like because I love fashion and stuff like that, and I was like, dude, I wonder if I could spend some time like creating skirts and like just clothes and things like that. I've actually tailored a couple of my dresses just based on YouTube videos, but I say that to say, like, guys, what do you think that people are maybe like, it's not a big deal to other people. Like people who don't do what you do well, they would kill to have your skills, and they would pay for you to teach them. So just be open to that and put yourself out there.
I agree. I mean, another growth area is fashion for people above the waist. Because nobody's looking below. If you're online and you're doing all this kind of stuff, there's no need. You can just sit in your pajama bottoms, but have the most amazing costumes and suits and stuff that basically go up from your belly button. That's brilliant. I agree completely.
That was like me a whole little niche, like low key, like webinar outfits from the waist up, right?
Zoom fashion. Number
Live
8.
fashion, like yeah,
I'm,
live video.
I'm going to buy the website zoomfashion.com as soon as we finish the conversation. Number 8, smiling in the mirror and laughing more often to see that smile, and playing comedy instead of music, and reframing. I think that what you've got to do is manage your emotions better. And I've got very good friends who hate the idea of being on their own. Hated. So whenever they're at home from work and say the wife was busy or whatever, they'd just pop round. And I say, well, what you been up to? So, I just hate staying in. I think that what you have to do is manage your emotions and manage your time better, because this is something that won't change. Now people are going to be working. It's not even going to be working from home. Remote working is a new phrase, and it's not even called remote working. It's just working. This is working now. Same as remote education. It's just called education. The terms are changing, so you have to be in a position to be able to deal with things better. And I think that's a massive skill and also massive growth industry. For once, for life coaches are going to find themselves snowed under with people who just need a bit of extra help, who before would have gone shopping or gone to a bar or a pub. Now they can't do that. They really do need that help. So it's a great opportunity for people.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an opportunity for people to do some introspective type exploration and research, right? I think a lot of people who are getting the results they are in their life, most of them are oblivious about like how they got to be where they are right now. Would you agree? Like
Yep.
most people who are living their life right now are, you know, living their circumstances and they're experiencing the fruit of their decision making, but oblivious about how they got where they are right now. And so I think this is an excellent opportunity. Like while people are, maybe not able to access some of these distractions that are maybe their norm for social and distractions and things like that, they're having to look at where am I right now in my life, and do I love it? And if I don't love it, how did I get here? How can I change it?
Well, I think as well as all that, so many people don't take control of their lives. They really just believe that the world is going to give them everything they need, and so all they don't have to. They will just let it happen. And I think that that's one of the biggest mistakes that we've ever had, is trusting the system to have our best interests at heart. I think that I learned that lesson from school. That when I went to school and when I worked really hard and I got the qualifications I needed to get, I came out from school going, and now what? And the answer was, yeah, what's your problem? And you're going, so doesn't it
Yeah.
turn into a job? No, it doesn't. Well, doesn't it get me a better job? Maybe. But you've also got some debts now that you've got to pay off. So there's a lot of different things like that that people have to consider. So yeah, I'd perfectly buy in. Number 9 on the list is everybody's going through life, and everyone's going through this. And if life was boring, then if it was easy and it wasn't challenging, this is something you touched on earlier, it would be really boring. Don't you? I found this entire year. In fact, it's a new year. I'm finding this entire period of time really exciting. I'm finding the whole
Yeah,
thing scary but exciting as well.
I definitely agree, and I think that's a personality trait of influencers and powerful people. Like for us, this is like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like what can we create? What can we do? Like how can we contribute? Right? And I think for a lot of people, like they are terrified of things not being the norm. Like if you're not a person who embraces change, you're terrified right now, and I understand it. I get it, right? Because like this is a time where the unknown more than ever is unknown. Right? So like everybody you're not getting any kind of solid answers about anything right now. And if you're the kind of person who needs that, like, or you feel like you need that, then you are probably terrified right now. So this is an opportunity again for people who are maybe used to routine. They're used to like the consistency of their routine. They're used to the consistency of doing things as they've always done it. Like, it's an opportunity for you to expand yourself and grow, and it is an opportunity for you to experience things that you never thought you could experience in a positive way. Like, this doesn't have to be a negative, terrifying thing. This can be something that maybe is a little scary, but grew you further, faster than you ever thought possible. Like, I want you guys to think about that right now. If you're in this situation and you're like, nothing is as it was, nothing is as it was, and that scares me, and that makes me feel uncomfortable, and that makes me feel, unsafe. I want to encourage you right now in this moment to think bigger, and expand your creativity about what your life can look like if you just go a little deeper, if you just allow yourself to explore and experiment in this time. And I think if you do that, if you stay open to, knowledge, and stay close to people who are, maybe your mentors in life, or people that can expand upon, the things the questions that you have in life, this time could be something that moves you further, faster than you ever thought possible. And I think that is exciting.
It definitely is. It's like a pause button was pressed across the globe. And everything that was a business model that was working for those who had a massive advantage in it has really stopped. And one of the things that I found fascinating, this is one of the reasons I've thrown myself at doing this particular thing, and I'm sure for you, Kimberly, you've guessed the gaps as well, is I've always realized, I mean, for instance, late night talk show hosts who I adore, the Trevor Noahs, the Stephen Colbert's, James Corden, all these guys are brilliant, usually stand-up comedians by trade, but then you give them the best opportunity to ply their trade with the best comedians that come on as guests, musicians, pop stars, movie stars. And so with a live audience, you've got a certain type of person that really does rule the roost. And what you have with media is you've got movies coming out, which are ensemble pieces that cost hundreds of millions to put together, and then you've got a market and everything else, and TV shows that people watch. You press a reset button with a pandemic, and none of them can do anything. We went through about 4 or 5 months of all the late night talk show hosts working from home. And that's when I got interested. I thought, hold on, this reset button means that we can step up and do something different. So you already know Ernesto Verdugo. We created the Toilet Paper Diaries and just broadcast every day like this, not knowing what was going to happen, and just went into it. Now, here's what I found really fascinating. Some of them will go back to doing what they're doing and creating, whether it's a zoo crew atmosphere with their musicians in the studios, and just have fun like that. And it's an okay broadcast, not quite the same atmosphere as before, but certainly not terrible. But for the movies, for TV shows, all these things will not go back for a good amount of time, because if you've got a filming crew and your lead actor for whom you've written a script for a TV show suddenly gets positive with COVID, then the whole thing goes into lockdown. And is it worth stepping forward? Now, here's why I like it, because what we're doing right now fills a gap. And once we do go back to many people having their TV shows and movies being released and everything else, there's a ton of people who won't want to go back to that because it's not that relevant for what they really enjoy. They don't want to sit and watch Netflix and find some really interesting TV show because it doesn't help them grow their business. If we're doing a show like this about people's mindset, about their business, about their opportunities, about their way of broadcasting, about speaking on stage, there's a ton of people who say that's relevant. And the quality of production was good enough for me to want to spend some time on a regular basis. Why would I go and watch a TV show and eat a box set when it doesn't help me grow and make more money? So I think that we've got a real opportunity for the first time in a lifetime to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the whole topic of today's broadcast is 10 reasons why you're amazing. One of the reasons why you're amazing is that you have probably you are positioned like no other culture, like no other time in all of the world to create something that can be visible, that can be seen, that can be acknowledged in a different way. Because like you said, Hollywood and all of these things people are being affected by what's happening in the pandemic, and they are being limited by those things. So they're unable to continue production, but people's attention are going somewhere. Like the attention is happening somewhere, and that place could be your platform. That place could be your hub of your place for where you're adding value, developing solutions for people. People are thinking about more than ever, how do I move forward faster? How can I create something that is valuable to my audience? How can I create something that is lucrative for the business? Like, now more than ever, people are paying attention to you in numbers that are unmatched in any other probably culture ever. So this is an opportunity. I hope that all of you see it. I hope that you all will embrace the opportunity and seek someone who can help you develop what you're creating and put it in front of the eyes of the kinds of people that you want to work with. Because let's be clear, Dave, you don't have to have the biggest audience to make the biggest impact. Like, you have to have the right audience, the people that are most likely to benefit from what it is that you offer are the kinds of people that you want watching your broadcast, and the kinds of people that are really going to help propel you from good to great.
I completely and utterly back that. I think it's so true. And number 10 on this is focus on what you can do today. Forget about the past. Don't worry about the future, because when the future arrives, it's going to look just like today anyway. But you're going to plant those seeds by doing something about it right now. I don't think we're going to get an opportunity like this lockdown again. I hope we really don't, because this is once in 100 years. But there'll be such a shift. It's already happening now with influence, with finances, with opportunities for those early adopters who say, I'm going to jump and grow wings on the way down. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. So take it one day at a time, like Groundhog Day or Boss Level or any of those movies where we keep reliving every single day again. This is your chance to just say, right, I don't have that many pressures, and I don't need to spend the money I was spending before on just keeping up with everybody else. I just need to make sure that I do what I want to do. And that's something that most people, I believe, don't really ask themselves. They do what everyone else tells them to do through advertising and pressure, peer pressure, culture, so on. This is your chance to be the real you and be that forever. Why would you want anything else?
Yeah, like I love that. Like, I love the perception of, like, this is your opportunity to be the real you. Like, there are so many people in your ear about what it is that you should do, right? And I think this is an opportunity for people to experiment. Like, experiment, play around. Like, don't take your business so seriously. I think people get to the point where it's like, I understand, like, revenue and all this stuff. Like, you're building your bottom line. It's important. Yeah, it's important. But at the same time, like, what's more important is the impact that you create on, when you're gone. Like, what do you want people to say about you at the end of your time here? You have a limited amount of time here. And I think creating something that's really impactful is more important than something that is just like built on, the revenue that you create. And granted, I truly believe that they are connected, right? So the impact that you create is going to create revenue generating activities for you, if that makes sense, right? And so, I think this goes back, like, I'm so big on collaboration and I'm so big on partnering, because I understand that there's things that I don't understand. Do you understand that? Like, there are things that I understand that I don't understand. And there are things that it may take me forever to master, Dave. Like, it may take me forever to know what you know about, personal development and influencing people and, getting people excited about whatever the cause is. But if I partner with you, if I say, Dave, like, I really want to move into this area, and I know you're so good at this, then this is my opportunity to connect with you and benefit from your knowledge and benefit from what you're doing to move what I'm doing further faster. And I think if people can get outside of themselves in this moment, in this time, I think that they can grow further faster through collaboration and partnerships in situations just like this.
There we go. And those are the 10 reasons why not only are we amazing, but everybody's amazing. If you want to take a snapshot of that, then you can keep that forever. Or if you're writing it down frantically, or even just connect with me and say, Dave, can you send me that clip? Or send me that thing, then I will do. If not, we've been broadcasting across lots of different platforms. The people can catch us on Clubhouse, which is where we're broadcasting, and how we're connected with Kimberly. And also on LinkedIn, Twitter, on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all there. You can go back through it all, and it'll be available on podcasts soon as well. Kimberly, I'm going to show you your website again. Do you want to give a plug now again for everyone to connect with you on social media and also find what it is that you can do for them?
Yeah, for sure. If you guys go to Facebook, I'm Kimberly Flowers. You can go to facebook.com/Kimberly Flowers, and you'll see some of our broadcasts there. But also go to, if you're looking for somebody, if you're looking to partner with somebody who can create a compelling, TV ready live stream broadcast for you, go to remoteproducerlive.com. That's remoteproducerlive.com. And on the website, I think there's an available chat area. Also, you can connect with us at support@remoteproducerlive.com. Support@remoteproducerlive.com. That again is support@remoteproducerlive.com. To speak with someone on our team about how you can start to create this digital platform, this media platform in 2021 to create something amazing and eye-catching and TV ready for your audience.
Fantastic. So make sure you do that and connect with Kimberly Flowers on all social media as well. And I'm sure that we're going to have these conversations and similar ones in the future too, Kimberly. It's great when we're connected just by accident of just going live. You never know how many superstars are going to turn up and start playing. It's been great to chat to you. It's been really good.
Sure. I love, I think these are the moments that are most valuable in this kind of time and situation. Like, to me, it's 3:23 in the morning
Wow.
here in San Antonio, Texas, and I am excited about just like you and I have been trying to create a collaboration, and so it just so happens that by accident I jump on your broadcast and it ends up happening. So I love stuff like that. Like, we've been trying to connect for a while for a live stream, and this
Of
worked out
course.
perfectly.
Serendipity, and when it happens, it was a big one, and that's fantastic and amazing. There's only you and vampires hanging around at 3:23 in the morning, so we're very lucky to catch you at this time.
Yeah.
So it's been brilliant having you on. I look forward to catching up with you again soon. We'll plan something in the future, and feel free to get some of your friends and business colleagues as well to jump in, because I can see how we can take this to a whole new level for future conversations. I'd also like to say to everybody, absolutely. And everybody who joined us, by the way, thank you for spending your time with us. I hope we gave you enough value and enough inspiration to be able to get through your day, wherever you are in the country or around the world. But also make sure you connect with myself and Kimberly on all our platforms so you don't miss another chance to have a broadcast like this. So with that, Kimberly, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you playing. You can now go to bed, resting comfortably that you've made many people's lives better.
Well, I appreciate it so much, Dave, and I thank you so much for allowing me on the platform today. This has been like a pleasant surprise, and we were able to do this off the cuff, and I always value what it is that you are doing. Like, I love talking with you because I feel like our energy just works so well, and it did so today, so I'm excited about having future collaborations. I want to have you on my show too, so be on the lookout for an email from me to invite you onto my platform too, okay?
It's a date. I look forward to doing that. We won't leave it a couple of years this time. We'll do it during this wonderful lockdown period. So that's fantastic. So with that, I'm going to call it a day for everybody who's joined us. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast with myself and Kimberly. I will be doing this on a regular basis. If you connect with me, send me a message directly. Usually LinkedIn is the best way to catch me. And if you've got a certain subject you'd like me to connect to and go through, and you also have a number of people that you think would be useful, let's get it going. Let's get a big conversation going. Because I really think that now there's no better time to be connected to interesting people and see how, as one world, we can share stuff that people previously were keeping to themselves and not sharing. So I'm here for you as always with Speak on Stage. Go to speakonstage.com and have a look at what I'm doing there. If you feel that you'd like me to work with you personally, then all you need to do is go to speakonstage.com and look for the button that has the industry icon program, which is specially created for us to be able to do some interesting stuff. I can help you create this whole platform and this ability to broadcast directly to your business, to your friends, to your colleagues, and whatever your niche. There are a ton of people out there who would love to know what you think and, of course, help you monetize that too. So with that, I'm going to finish off by sharing with you one of my motivational videos. This is about the next subject we're going to be talking about. So keep making sure that you check in every now and again. As soon as you see me going live, jump on, and you're always welcome. The next subject we're talking about is going to be about grit. Now, grit is about your mindset. It's about your ability to say, I'm in charge of my life. Whatever happens around me, I'll just keep moving forward. Now, grit isn't just about your ability to have stickability. Here's the thing. When you really do utilize grit, then it also means that somebody who's better trained, somebody who's better connected, somebody who's better looking, somebody who's fitter, somebody who's been to the very top levels of connection will not get as much out of their lives as you will, just by sticking to your guns and learning and jumping and growing wings as you go along. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a video of grit. I look forward to catching up with you soon. Have an amazing day or evening or morning or wherever you are on the planet. My name is Dave Crane. Look after yourself. Thank you. I'm Dave Crane. Let me tell you about grit. Most people think it's easy, but they don't really understand it. It's a long story. It's about a long journey. And if you really want to make a difference in your life, then grit's the way that you'll do it. Let me explain. It means pain. It means perseverance on a worldwide scale. It's taking yourself to the next level. And most people don't do that. They don't realize the journey, it doesn't stop. You keep your eyes on the prize. You go wide and never ever let it stop. You go on a journey like this, looking around, wondering where it's going, where's it leading me? And when you stop, you have to take a breath. You have to realize, not everybody's on your side. Most people don't understand, but grit is the one thing that'll take you on your journey. Let me show you something. And I'm exhausted, because the way that it takes you is grit has always got to be trusted. It's a one thing, a unifier that guarantees you will go to a higher level in your life, because somehow you will know nobody else does. Nobody else gets it. Nobody else knows just how much it takes to make it. So is grit the same as perseverance? Is it the same as resilience? Is it the same as talking? Is it the same as goals? It's all the above. But here's the difference. If you decide you've got grit, then it doesn't matter where you're from. Grit beats all. It beats smarts. It beats intelligence. It beats strength of character. It just means you keep your eyes on the prize and you keep pushing, non-stop. And that's what we do. Keep pushing. And it means you spend a lot of time on your own, on a journey. Nobody gets it, nobody knows, nobody understands. And as you travel, there's people that travel with you. And they don't know why you're doing it. And you don't have to explain it either. But tests have shown, if you've got grit, the big change that it makes for you is you always become with it. You can move, and you never change. And people come and go, but they always say the same thing. Why do you do this? Why do you stick with it? Why do you just take the easy route? But you can't. Grit doesn't work that way. You lose friends, you lose family, you lose money, you change towns, go to a new venue, find new hurdles, get frowns, get down. Everybody looks and they step off. You take a new journey with you. But the way to stick with it is grit will see you through. If you believe in yourself and you're strong enough, you don't, then you're never going to make it. But here's the thing, if you've got grit, you're always going to take it. And then at the end of your journey, and it doesn't matter who you are, just pushing yourself further and further will get you to somewhere special. And when you get there, you'll know that every single second was worth it. You'll know it. Because when you get to the top, and you look at that view, and you put down your stuff, and you know it's about you can smile, you can love, and you can see it was worth it.